Welcome back. It's the winner-take-it-all clash with India and New Zealand coming face-to-face in the final of the inaugural World Test Championship in Southampton tomorrow. Test cricket will get its first champion team, and Team India has a great opportunity to become the #1 side in the world. In their way is the New Zealand team that has a habit of pulling off surprises. Let's preview this and then go to Sunil Gavaskar.
The 144-year-old history of Test cricket is about to change. The most sacred form of the game is looking for its rightful king. Virat Kohli and his men will be up against Kane Williamson's New Zealand in the title showdown of the inaugural World Test Championship. Despite the changes in the format, India have earned their place in the final fair and square. Team India won 5 of their 6 series, including 2 overseas, in the World Test Championship cycle, and interestingly, their only series loss came against New Zealand, where they lost 0-2. India's bowling attack looks as potent as any other, and the presence of 2 world-class spinners in Ashwin and Jadeja only adds more teeth to their resources.
This is a strong case because both Jadeja and Ashwin can bat. They can build serious partnerships down the order. So, and when people talk about spinners not getting enough assistance in England, I feel they get different kind of assistance which you possibly don't get as much in India. Now, people only talk about the surface, but nobody talks about what happens in the air.
For Virat Kohli as captain, a victory in Southampton could finally end his long wait for an ICC title, having led India in 2 ICC competitions. Batting could eventually decide the result of the final. Virat, Rahane and Pujara have the experience of these English conditions, but the openers may have to set the tone for them.
I feel that there's a lot more experience and class in this Indian batting lineup. Whereas with New Zealand, yes, they've got exciting young opener in the form of Conway, who has done well against England in the ongoing Test series. There's experienced Ross Taylor, Latham, and then Kane Williamson. But if you see the amount of experience, the talent, the exuberance the Indian batting lineup possesses, so I believe that whichever batting lineup scores big, above par total in the first innings, will hold the edge.
Rohit Sharma will be opening in England for the first time, while Shubman Gill just has 7 tests under his belt. India's 11 will feature 3 pacers, with experienced Ishant Sharma preferred over Mohammad Siraj, while Bumrah and Shami will complete the pace attack, with Ashwin and Jadeja as the 2 spinners. India have not had any practice game ahead of the final, while New Zealand have got themselves conditioned well with a 2-test series against England. The Black Caps will pose a serious challenge, but this Indian team knows how to change perception and convert opportunities into success. Sports Bureau, India Today.
Blundell does the rest.
Okay, let's go straight across to Southampton, where Sunil Gavaskar, the one and only Sunil Gavaskar, legend of Indian cricket, joins us. Mr. Gavaskar, first ever World Test Championship. Is the mood a bit like the inaugural 50-over World Cup of 1975, a sense of quiet excitement, or not really?
No, anything first is always, something which is exciting, something to look forward to. But while the World Cup in 1975, the first ever World Cup, the Indian team wasn't really into one-day cricket, wasn't really into 50 overs cricket, limited overs cricket. Here, for Test Champ, they have been playing Test cricket since 1932. So they're pretty well prepared as far as this particular format is concerned. And to win the first ever World Test Championship would be a huge thing. And I think the Indian team is aware of that, and they're going to go out and try and win it for the country.
I was listening to the New Zealand coach calling it a David versus Goliath battle. Small little New Zealand versus superpower, billion-strong India. Is that how you see it, David versus Goliath?
Well, I mean, in a way, you can call it that way, but then the Goliath has to be very careful of David, because in the end, remember, David managed to beat Goliath. So what India needs to do is not underestimate New Zealand. New Zealand has always flown under the radar. They don't seem to have, big names, if one might call it, names that make waves in the game of cricket. Yes, they have Kane Williamson and Trent Bolt, but they are not the names you take regularly when you talk about, oh, I want to go and see so and so, I want to go and watch so and so, and sometimes therefore they are underestimated. But India knows, having played them at various formats, India know that they cannot underestimate this team.
Is it that they've flown under the radar, as you said, New Zealand, or the fact that they've just got much better? They are the one side that has troubled India in recent times. They defeated us in New Zealand comprehensively a couple of years ago. Are they the side that just has that ammunition to trouble us?
Yes, they are the kind of side, because, like I said, if it's a team like Australia, if it's a team like England, the preparation, the mental preparation, there is that mental awareness, there is that, that whole, let me look where England or Australia can surprise me. In New Zealand's case, somehow, that kind of depth of, awareness is sometimes not there. And that's where they managed to get in. They've got a bunch of talented players. Look at Ross Taylor. He's been there for the last maybe a dozen years. He's been scoring runs consistently. He's a tremendous catcher in the slips. Kane Williamson seems to score runs everywhere. So I think all told, you would find that, because New Zealand has always, been the team that has been underestimated by a lot, they keep doing well in these world formats.
Basically, they punch above their weight. You mentioned Ross Taylor, Kane Williamson. Most people, though, are worried this time about the New Zealand fast bowling attack. You've got Bolt, Southee, Wagner. They've got all the classic seam and swing attack designed for English conditions. Is that going to be a big factor come tomorrow?
Yes, they're going to be a formidable attack, no question about it. They might even include Matt Henry in the team. He also bowled. Remember, he bowled really well 2 years ago in the World Cup. So it's not going to be an attack that is got to be, thought of as, that you can just, bide your time and score, because there is really no sort of rest. Like when you played against the West Indies fast bowlers, you had 4 fast bowlers coming at you regularly. Here you have got 4 quality seamers and swing bowlers coming at you.
Let's look at it from an Indian perspective. The big positives that we have. Do we have, in a sense, a much stronger, effervescent batting lineup? Do you believe that we have the bigger variety in our attack? We have both spin and pace. What is it that you feel gives us, in a sense, some kind of an advantage over the New Zealanders?
I think apart from the fact that the Indian team is very well balanced, the Indian team has, I think, just a little bit more experience. The Indian team has got just a little bit more drive, particularly because, they haven't won a world championship for about 3-4 years. And I think at the moment, because of the fact that they haven't played any cricket, they have the energy, they have the freshness, they have the eagerness to go out and play well. Because look, young guys, stuck to their rooms for a month and a half, not doing anything, maybe go out and practice a bit. Practice is nothing. When a big match happens, you want to go out and do win.
Interesting the way you're putting it. You believe that coming out of the bubble will make them feel fresh in a way. Any player you believe in our Indian side who becomes the X factor in this big match? Any match winner who you feel is the key and can make the difference?
I think the two X factors are going to be Rishabh Pant and Ravindra Jadeja, because they at number 6 and 8, and I hope both of them play. They will be the X factor.
Interesting you're mentioning Rishabh and Ravindra Jadeja. Both were heroes when we defeated the Australians recently. Is there a sense that this Indian team is young and fearless? Beating the Australians in Australia, and that youth and the fearless attitude gives us the edge.
Well, I think, I have a little issue with the word fearless, because it implies that the previous teams were fearful. I don't think that's the right way to describe this team. I think what you want to describe this team is that this is an audacious team. This is a bold team. don't call it a fearless team. Call this team an audacious team. Call this team a bold team. Call this team a team that is willing to take on various challenges. And I think, yes, I think with that kind of an attitude that this particular team has, they can conquer the world.
You know, I take your point. Fearless was when you and others of your generation played fast bowlers without helmets. But in all your years in going to England, how much of a difference is the cloud cover going to make? If it is overcast, do the New Zealanders get the edge? If it's sunny, and I say it's sunny days, Indians have the edge. Is that the way you see it in Southampton today?
No question about it, because those are the conditions, weather conditions that the Indians are used to playing, with the sun on their backs. While on the other hand, New Zealand is quite used to playing in cold temps, and therefore, are going to be able to exploit those conditions much better.
You know, a final word. You have this lovely backdrop. I presume this is at the ground. I know Southampton has the hotel inside the stadium. Cricket in COVID times, excitement with a big match, terrible pandemic, and now we finally got a world final. Does that, in a way, energize the entire atmosphere? That makes this match even more special, being played in the midst of a pandemic.
Yes. Just got out of isolation for a brief period yesterday, and back in the bubble here today. But this bubble is not going to be the kind of the bubble that can be sort of can make you claustrophobic. So because you will be able to meet other commentators. You can go down for a particular a particular area kept aside for the commentators for lunch, breakfast, etc. So I think there will be just a little more interaction than otherwise. And so in this particular COVID times, when it's been difficult to meet people, I think we are really blessed. We are really, really blessed, fortunate to be able to be out and about and also see the game that we love so much.
A final question. Who's going to win? What's your prediction? I'm going to hold you to this, Mr. Gavaskar, in 5 days, so be careful. What's your prediction? Who's winning the World Test Championship?
Absolutely. You can hold me to it. I think India will win this test match.
Right.
And I will give you a prediction for the next series now. India will win the next series against England 4-0.
Very, very positive language. You're saying India will defeat England 4-0, will win the World Test Championship. Clearly sunny days ahead for Indian cricket.
Well, I don't know about sunny times, but I've seen this team in Australia, and I've seen the way they've bounced back. And I do believe that, nothing is impossible for this team. Sky is the limit for this team.
Sky is the limit for this team. Well, wonderful to talk to you, Mr. Gavaskar. Stay well. I might remind you, it's 50 years this year since your test debut. So a very special year for you and Indian cricket, when you defeated England and West Indies.
It is a very special year. And that's all. That also makes me that much more confident that on the golden jubilee of the Indian team's wins in 1971, this Indian team will do something extraordinarily special.
Well, that would make it a truly special celebration. Stay well, Mr. Gavaskar. You're putting your money on India to win the test match. Thanks very much. World Test Championship tomorrow.